guys, and welcome back to the Station Bakery. I tried something new and they're called tea globes or tea bombs. Have you heard of them? Yes? No? Let's get into it. Let's go. To get as much information in this video, I will be talking fast, so listen closely. To make the shell, use isomalt. Isomalt is a sugar substitute that derives from beet sugar. It's low calorie, has little to no effect on blood sugar levels, and it does not stimulate the release of insulin. Isomalt is safe and has been approved for use in the US as well as many other countries, but remember, all things in moderation. But more on that later. This information and more can be found with a quick search on Google. I will be using 1/4 cup of isomalt crystals. This was enough to make 2 regular sized tea bombs. To melt down the crystals, put a heat-safe pan on the stove. Pour in the crystals and spread evenly over the base of the pan. Cook over medium-high heat until all of the crystals have melted. Do not stir. Instead, if you have crystals that need to be melted down, shake it around to get all of those crystals on the top to the bottom. You will know that it's ready when all of the crystals have melted and your liquid is clear. Take the pot off of the heat and place it on something that is heat-proof, such as a pot holder. As the mixture cools, you will need to work quickly because it will begin to solidify. This product will be hot, so please proceed with caution and do not, I repeat, do not touch this mixture with your bare hands. As you see here, I am using a spoon to dip in my mixture into my molds. Because we are transferring this mixture from the hot pot into room temperature molds, it will begin to solidify even quicker, so you will need to work quickly. I am using regular food coloring to color my isomalt mixture. When you add in the food coloring, the isomalt mixture will begin to bubble and sizzle. This is perfectly okay. After that, take your spoon and mix it together to incorporate the food coloring. Mixing this together incorporates air into the mixture, which will cause it to cool down even more. So after you're done mixing it, you want to take your spoon and smooth it around the edges of your mold, filling in any holes and any spots. Your mixture will start solidifying even more once you spread it around your mold, so you want to make sure that you are moving quickly and not tinkering with it too much. If there are still some spaces that you need to fill in, just go ahead and add in a little bit more of the isomalt mixture to fill in those holes. This mixture sets up almost instantaneously, so there is no need to pop it in the refrigerator or the freezer. Once you have coated your mold, just let them sit. Do not touch the mixture still because it will still be very, very hot. So just let them sit and walk away. While your tea bomb shells are cooling down, we can go ahead and start preparing our tea. For this tutorial, I am using a basic chamomile tea bag. You can switch this out for any other tea that you like. Now that our shells have cooled down, we can safely take them out of the mold. To do so, I pull the side of the mold away from the shell while pushing the back up. This causes them to release perfectly. I am only going to pop out the top halves. Leaving the bottom halves in the mold will make it easier to seal the two halves together. I hope that made sense. While the bottom half is still in the mold, I am going to take and open my tea packet. I will take the tea bag that's in there and then fold it to fit inside of the shell. On this example, I decided to tear off the tag, but you can certainly leave the tag on and leave the string and the tag hanging outside of the shell. It really makes for a cute tea bomb, and you'll see it later in the video with another example. I am using a 70mm sized mold, and this fits this tea packet perfectly. I'm just folding it in half and then laying it inside. If you have any other things that you would like to put inside of the mold, such as dried flowers and herbs, it has plenty of space to add that as well. For this next part, I will be pulling out these protective gloves specifically made for handling sugar. I really should have been wearing these for the entire video because working with sugar can be very dangerous, especially if it spills or splatters on you. So starting off from the beginning, just rewind the whole video back and put on protective gloves. I will have the ones that I use specifically linked in the description below. To adhere the two isomalt halves together, I will be using a hot pan. I just sat it on the stove for a few minutes to let it heat up, and I'm going to place it on a heat-proof material. You always want to be cautious when working with hot objects. Using my gloved hand, I am now going to take my top half and melt it down by placing it ever so slightly for just a second onto the hot pan. This is going to melt down those edges, and then I'm simply going to place it on top of my other half that is still in the mold. From here, I will be able to pull the sides just like I did the top part, press from the bottom and release the entire tea bomb. And this is what it looks like. If there's any excess hanging off the edges and you would like to remove them, you surely can by gently breaking them off. However, when doing so, please be very cautious and dispose of these pieces properly, because broken shards of this isomalt turns into a glass-like substance that can cut you and cause harm. For this next part, I'm going to double my screen so that you are able to see this happen from two different point of views. I am pouring my hot water into my mug. You want to make sure that you have nice steamy water, but you don't want it to be too hot. Use whatever level of water that you would normally use for your tea. Tea bombs are very fragile, so be very careful when handling them because any little nick or knack can cause them to crack. So just drop it into your hot water and watch the magic happen. You see here that almost instantly it melts down and releases the tea bag. Stir your tea and let it steep for the recommended time as stated on the tea's package. Now back to our conversation about moderation. So it is recommended that a person takes in no more than 50 grams of isomalt a day. Overdoing it will cause diarrhea. Each of my bombs have 8 to 10 grams of isomalt. So that means that I can take about 5 of these a day and not run the risk of having the runs. Well, that was fun. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should try next. Until next time, peace.